Today, I'm going to compare the Curado 200K and the Curado 300K. Let's go. To do a quick review of my new reel, which is the Curado 300K HG, versus one that I had for a little while, the Curado 200K HG. So starting off, obviously there's quite a bit of different size between the two. Much bigger spool on the 300K, bigger handle on the 300K. For starters, there's definitely a weight difference between the two. The 300 is just a much more durable reel, holds a lot more line than the 200K, and that means a couple of different things. So when I'm casting this A-rig with the 300K, since my spool diameter is bigger, when I put my thumb on it, I have more leverage over the axis of the spool. And so it takes less thumb pressure for me to control heavier bait while I'm casting it. That's something that I didn't notice until I actually started using it, and it's quite a bit different than the 200K. Next up would be the handle size difference. I'm gonna try to compare these two for you. There's I may look it up later and put it on the screen, but there's probably a 10 to 15 millimeter difference between the two. Something else to consider are the brakes. I'm gonna try not to drop this in the water while I'm here. But this side cover on the 300K comes off completely. It's got kind of an old school style, I think it's a VBS style brake system, which is, I'm not too thrilled that the cover comes off, because to me that's something to drop into the water. But you know, this older style, I've had it on my old Bantam Curados. You don't have to adjust it a whole lot, and it does perform quite well. Whereas the Curado 200K, you got a couple different things you can mess with. So this side cover is attached, which is good. It has the 4-shoe brake system on it. And then also, as you lock this back in, there's a manual adjustment for a little bit more fine tuning of your brakes, which I would say the 200K definitely has a superior braking system that you can dial in a little bit more and definitely easier than the 300K. The 300 HG is a 6.6 to 1 ratio. The 200K HG is a 7.4. Well, you think this is a numerically slower gear ratio, which it is. The larger diameter spool makes this reel bring in more line per handle. The 6.6 brings in more line than the 7.4. Off the top of my head, the 6.6 brings in 35 inches per handle turn. The 7.4 brings in 31 inches. So minor difference, but if you're looking at something that you want to creep bottom with, fish just busted right in front of me. If you want to creep bottom with a 300K, like with a Huddleston or something in super cold water, the 6.6 might be a little bit too fast for you. I think they make a 4 or 5 to 1 something ratio reel. Look at that for the 300K. Part of me wishes I went with the slower ratio, but I do throw an A-rig quite a bit, and I want the fast ratio for those reel twitches, so I can bam, bam, and make that rig open and close. One more thing to mention is the 200K has an 11-pound drag on it. When you get the 6.6 to 1 ratio with the HG 300K, it's an 18-pound drag. And I want to say if you get the lower numerical ratio, you get another couple pounds. I want to say it goes up to 22, which is a lot for a Shimano reel. If you're on the fence about, is the 200K going to be enough reel for me, you probably want to step it up to the 300. The line capacity, I think the braking system is a little bit more heavy duty maybe. The larger handle, it's just an all-around much beefier reel. Easier to cast bigger baits, easier to handle bigger fish, higher drag. Go with a 300 if you're on the fence. Anyway, good luck. Tie lines.